Aye.
Okay. Okay. Valid.
Yes.
Yesh min eretz ruchani kazeh. There's this kind of spiritual poison. Shebetiba l'tashtesh es hatochen Yisrael miyuchad, which has capacity to dilute, to muddle the true, the special Jewish content. Shu Ora Kadosh, which is the holy light. Hayoser me'omek sheba'olam, which is
Yoser me'umak.
umak, perhaps the deepest. Hachaim HaKadoshim, holy life, Hashofim b'pnimei pnimius, which flow in the inner of inners. Havhaka, the brilliance, Shor Eloki Emes, of the light of the true God, Elohim B'derech Yisrael Knesset Yisrael, which go in a straight line onto the Am Yisrael. B'suach Pituach Nishmasa, and the openness and development of its soul. They are bound up with the moisture of life. Of the kedusha of our true belief in its highest holiness. Only the world, when it's renewed in the heights of its sanctity, the sub-go can absorb it. And then only then illuminate the plots of life, the pathways of life based on this high spirit which embeds in it, which determines with its strength, but should be soil in the practical life of Am Yisrael. Me'aver on the one hand, and it's the life of Emunah and the content of the flow of the heart and the branching off out of the spirit. On the other hand, it embeds in this or shapes it as feels in it as feels up the inner demand of the nation, Gevuras Emdasa, the strength of its stance, and its desire for its victory. Me'oz bitrastik vasa, from the strength of the security of its hope for Atidah and the light of its truth. Okay, again, I don't see that he said anything.
I was reading this before, and I said exactly the same thing.
Yeah, yes, there is this beautiful notion of this inner content, which flows and is deep and determines practical life, and when any faction in the Jewish people can claim, hey, this is me, I'm the inner content of the Jewish people, and eventually all of life is going to be determined by the content which I perceive or I believe is the true content. So I don't see any objective here so far, at least. Neged zeh, also Eretz Magia B'Kamo, opposing this, that poison reaches with its damage of Tochius Dam HaChayim, to the inner lifeblood. Shotor Emunah, of the purity of Emunah, Pisgas Oz Hekdesh, the heights of the strength of holiness. Marafefes Yisoda Ma'amad HaChdusia Itan Shalmuma, and it weakens the basis, the foundation of the stances of the unified stance, the strong unified stance of the nation. It takes in the world the radiance of inner life, Shalator Loki, of the divine purity, of the divine purity. Okay, it puts in its place an external glow. Noga is a very interesting term because it's a Kabbalistic term. Noga is the glow. The klipas noga is the glow of something which is not necessarily completely kadosh, where you have to be uplifting the tzotsos. So there, noga chitzoni means something which is not completely light, something which is impeded upon by all sorts of superfluous impediments. It's noga chitzoni that does not have that penetration, ideal precision, victory, avtocha, promise, for or hemes, and the light of truth, kol ade ad, which vanquishes everything for eternity. So whatever noga there is a noga which is like a residual type of light, which is not true light. Yoneku erez mishipas halach shel ruach hamunah v'musar. This poison itself feeds off the flow, the moisture of emunah and musar. In other words, it's a poison which doesn't just distort, but grows from the substance which it's distorting. It takes the let's say the nitzotos of kedusha, to use another metaphor, and it envelops and conquers them and takes them over to its side. Mispashetu amon amim rabim, it expands on many nations. What's the word you have? V'naos?
Yeah.
V'naosu ma'od lilumei tevel b'chug rachab. And it's very appropriate, evidently, for the nations of the world in a broad spectrum. I assume what he's saying is that there's this kind of external nationalism, which seems to have some illumination in it, and which is very good for the nations of the world. Although I don't see why it's good for them. It seems to be bad for them. Maybe it's good for them in a bad way. In other words, it's appropriate for them because they are superficial and they have no content. But that nationalism, if it becomes the way the Jews identify themselves, is a very bad thing. It stands on the basis of a weakening, impoverished understanding, both Mussar in the quality of Mussar and the taste of emunah and the true dveikos in Hashem. You know, I'm a big no, I should say I'm not a big fan of the current religious Zionism. I'm not a big fan of current Haredi Judaism either. I'm not a big fan of that much in Judaism altogether. And I feel that most of the phenomena in Judaism today fall into this category. They have a poor and impoverished understanding of Mussar and the emunah and veikos elokis. And at the same time, they present themselves as if they have a strong and authentic and powerful understanding and perspective of what it means to have Mussar and emunah and veikos elokis. And some people present that on the basis of their complete focus on Torah to the almost rejection of any other significant things in Judaism, other on the complete focus on nationalism, almost like the complete rejection of other things, others on other various different forms of noga, of things which seem to illuminate and would be appropriate perhaps for non-Jews, but not for Jews. Okay, that's my rant. You're welcome. You're welcome to respond to it if you want.
No, I think that's very insightful. That's very insightful.
So this is a distortion of that which is expressed of that which is expressed by the Jewish nation, all of its chosen Torah, all of its strength and all of its purity. And you know, I can only imagine for myself, and I am a nobody, but I can imagine myself how frustrating it must have been for people like Rav Kook, and of course many other great people throughout the generations, to see how many things are distorted, to what extent they're distorted, and what tafel is taken to be ikar, and that which lacks true, I like that the word Mussar and tam shemunat vekas elokis is presented as being really authentic Mussar and tam shemunat vekas elokis, and it's a very demoralizing thing. Lochechu kilchoch hashor. This poison is what's the word licks, like the lick of an ox. When an ox licks something, it says last week's parsha that it destroys everything which grows there. It takes that which grows and ruins it. Makah kishia shar. It's a blow like Shia, which is the demon which knocks down houses which are empty, or wreaks havoc in empty houses, right? So it blows down the structures. It yearns to swallow up the living face. It yearns to eradicate the name Yisrael me'al pnei Adama, and to eradicate the inner radiance shalom of the world, and rather give an external materialistic content. Makifa achlala refuya murupad, one which is enveloping, it's far-reaching, it's all-encompassing, but with a weak compass, murupad, which is what's the word? Upholster. What?
I never heard that word.
Yeah, so, but internally, use with foolishness, for rishon and wickedness shall use, and I don't even mean necessarily idolatry per se, but of idolatry like fixations. And this distortion, right, which has seems to again try and present itself as being significant and try and present itself as being broad and all-encompassing, it's going to be a controlling factor. Both of Hashem until the word of Hashem comes to be revealed. Yishuas Yisrael and the salvation of Omek Nishmas Chayil Lamim, from the depth of the neshama of the force of life in the world, Lofia, when that appears. Then the shadows will fly away, and a new light will shine on Zion, which is kind of very depressing, of course. Hey, this book is generally depressing. The world is waiting for the light of the Jews. To highlight of the praise of name of Hashem. Of nation God created to tell his praise. The awareness which is our legacy from the bracha of Avram Avinu Baruch was blessed to God on high, created heaven and earth. The nation which dwells on its own of blameless, not counted among the nations. Hashem will lead it on its own, without any other foreign control. The nation which purifies the world from its tumah and all its darkness. The nation which inherited the precious treasure, the precious tool, which Hashem created, the Torah. Loches Yono slave, not visions of the heart, lo Mussarniks, nor human ethics, lo rak tefetz hagun, not just a nice goodwill, it's your tov and good depictions. Lo afkeruso machamri b'chav, not the afkerus, I know I translated that properly, not the dissolution of the material world nor of its property. Below zubasa guguf, so not the forsaking the body in the fundamental foreskin, the tumaso, and its tuma, bazuva sachaim chevra, and the not the desolation. There's another word for it. The not forsaking either. I can't. The words. I can't think of the word now. When life in society is abandonment. Hamamlochava the government and the governance. In the depths of the pollution laws, oh no, none of these we want. No kidding. Nor for leaving the world and its powers, its natural powers, which fell together with the people's sins in their degradation. None of this we want. We want the uplifting of all. And but the light of the moon should be like the light of the sun. In other words, whatever light there is in this world, which in this world pales, should be invigorated. Or and it should be like the light of the sun. Shiva Saim. Of course, Shiva Saim is 7 times the light of the 7 days. Ein mochambali bom, the heart and soul of, not the heart, the brain and heart. Ein nafsham merucham, the soul and the spirit shall call of any nation shown or any language. They can't get used to the idea of the kedusha of the world. But Hashem to the joy of the pride of God. That it should control creation from the depths of the beginning until the depths of its end. Which is completely embraced in the unity of God, Omek Tuva, in the depths of its good, Baram Grasa, and the thunder of its might, Betarasa, and its purity, Tzaftucha, and its radiance. We know all of the various influences of all the guidances of all the nations. It's like Gosein Fierkov, their levels based on their values. As on the one hand, the light and the darkness and all of its midos. That's omek hamakshachim, and the other hand, the depths of the darkness. That was just some light, but it's in darkness. Mostly it's darkness. So he says, okay, listen, we have done something. We have made some progress in this world. We dissipated the heavy clouds, which idolatry represented. That's the reference to like the eradication of the Avodah Zarah, and the Rambam who says that Christianity and Islam helped dissipate Avodah Zarah over the course of history. Now we have to go after the lighter dark clouds. So you have to go after the negation of practical mitzvahs, which emerges from heresy, and it's form of divinity. It's form of idolatry, which is again not the same idolatry as true idolatry, but the idolatry of absence of belief. Together with its rising up to acquire from our religion, values of Muna and Mussar in mouths with speech, speak great things. So evidently the new spirit of Minus in the heresy in the modern times is one which does pay lip service to Emunah and Mussar. It's not true heresy. But at the same time, he stamped the Musagois. These dark aspects, to do say a lot and not do much, have to do with that non-Jewish stupidity. Which cannot contain in his uncircumcised heart, as the radiant perspective of divinity in all of its glory. My words, which links heaven and earth, Kuvan Neshama, body and soul, and Muna Maaseh, Muna and act practice, Tzirim Bifalim, depictions and activities, issues of chevra, personality and individual personality and society. All myself, all my body, this world will come. Havaya Solomim Brashisham, the creation were the beginning, and their destiny at the end. Well, most the laughter of eternity. Simchas Shamayim Eretz Chotzvam, the joy of heaven and earth and all of their hosts. V'mchias Shem B'Sher V'Chotzel Elili, in eradicating any vestige, any name, any shadow of idolatry. B'tergam Sheva Dargas Elim Mizumas, when the low levels of the world are purified of their pure pollution. B'tergam Amich Mussar Yosef, when the most distorted crookedness will be straightened. With that which is enveloped together with all distortions. Even the smallest and lightest is going to be eradicated. And light will shine for the straight ones. The Goyish world is like this. Murkav Muchlak, complex, divided, no unity of neshama, there is no connection and internal merging of ruchnis of the spirituality of the world and its materialism. There is no internal connection between deeds and the feelings, the movement of the soul. The partnership which they have now is, I guess, the most it can be before the shining of light of Israel. But at the same time, how poor and impoverished the world. That this wickedness and darkness lifts up its head. It claims to be the ideal of, I guess, of the potentiality of the world. How many treasuries of wickedness are underneath this terrible lie? Which has the hooves of a pig, which extends so towards any all passes by them more. Rushani tahor. And how impoverished are the ideas which flow out of the world, which is Torah and true, towards the spill of this great pollution. Not enough light. How much light do we have to enhance in order to redeem the lights which have fallen into the darkness? They will be redeemed in eternal redemption, and the holy nation will be redeemed. Okay, I'm not sure how much more I can take of this.
Well, it's not a practical book. It's a book about idealism and ideology and matters of high value, rather than concrete steps to self-improvement or things like that. It's not about any practical ideas. It's only about ideas with a capital I.
Right. Okay. Well, but maybe it'll change. Maybe you'll get more speaking.
Listen, whatever you want to learn, I'm good to learn. But this is it's very interesting. But it's like I said, it's a book about ideas with a capital I. It has no connection to sort of practicality.
Yes, practicality, and it's very wistful. It's beautiful ideas, but
yes, it's poetic. It's poetry.
What do we now? What do we do? Okay, we'll see how it goes.
All right, take care.
Goodbye.